Carl, you've been making some headlines lately, haven't you, Didi? Oh, my goodness. What did you think of all of that? Let's just address the elephant in the room and get it out of the way. What did you think of Jurgen Klopp's reaction to what you said?
Well, I made a point towards the situation at Liverpool, and if he wants to react the way he did, then that's his decision only. Only he knows why he said it, but I don't want to get involved. I obviously acknowledge what he said, but that's it for me.
For what it's worth, Didi, I thought you were spot on, and I thought he was a bit out of order because you are well respected in the game. You've got 100 and odd caps for Germany. You've won loads of trophies, and you're working in the media like he did. You are allowed to give your opinion, and what you said, I thought was right.
Other people, I let other people judge on that, and everybody can make his own assumptions. But as I said, I don't want to get involved in a discussion or in a verbal slang in the public. So he said it. I know it made a few headlines. I spoke to Vinny O'Connor, who asked the question at the time. I think he had a bit of bother as well. He had a lot of phone calls as well in the last few days. But for me, it's all done and dusted. Yeah.
Okay, Dee. Well, let's get you back to doing what you do best and just analyse the game that we saw at the weekend, because it was so fast paced and so entertaining. Amazingly, there's only one goal in it.
Got the spark back.
They did, didn't they? What did you think of it, Didi?
Yeah, no, it was a brilliant game of football, and obviously I had Dean and Jamie speaking about the refereeing, and it was a brilliant game of football. That's why we love the Premier League. The two best teams over the last 4 or 5 years going hammer and tongs at it. And but in terms of the refereeing, and when we come to the disallowed goal, I think the priority has to be the safety of the players. And I think at times you feared for the safety of the players, and also when Klopp was sent off, there's just incidents or challenges which you have to give as fouls. And the one on Salah from Bernardo Silva when Klopp was sent off, that's a foul. It doesn't matter how lenient you are, how much you want to let go. The same thing with a goal. Fabinho is in possession of the ball. Haaland wants to go past. He's in possession of the ball. He pulls him down. And for me, it's a foul. There's no two ways about it. And I'm all for it to let the game flow, because this is why the Premier League, this is why I fell in love with the Premier League. This is why I enjoyed playing there, because the referees do let a lot go. But, when people are pulled down or when people are fouled, you have to give a free kick. There's no two ways about it.
Didi, what did you make of Liverpool's performance in general? Because you were right in terms of saying about the spark and things like that, but it was there, and the fans got behind them. Defensively, Van Dijk is come into question, but again, he was fantastic. What did you make of their overall team?
Well, I think it probably suited him a bit better because they played pretty deep. I don't think City had a corner in the whole game, which shows that, or they've not been. They had a corner. They've not been offside in the whole game, which shows that they defended pretty deep, which makes things for centre backs sometimes a little bit easier when they have to defend their own box. And we know that Van Dijk is very good in the air. Gomez did brilliant yesterday. He had his injury problems, but I think he showed yesterday what he can do. And then obviously you've got Milner. It's a makeshift back four, and Milner at right back. I remember a game 1 or 2 years ago where they played City. We had huge problems where he had to step in at right back, because at his age, when you play in the middle, you've got people around you. It's sometimes a little bit easier to play in the centre of the park. But at right back or full back, you are exposed at times. And what Milner did yesterday, 36 years of age, was brilliant. And for all the brilliance and the quality Liverpool got, I always felt in the last few years when they were successful, their biggest strength was always togetherness and that unity. And I don't think we've seen that to that extent in the first few games, but yesterday it was certainly back.
Didi, you were a midfield player. It was back to 4-4-2 yesterday. You had Jota and Harvey Elliott doing the old-fashioned up and down the pitch one. What problems do you have in the middle of the pitch there when you play against Man City and you're playing in a 2? So it was Thiago and Fabinho left against all their players, them brilliant midfield players. What problems do you have when that happens?
Well, I think the most important thing if you play 2 in the middle is that one of the 2 up top, Firmino and Salah. And Firmino is not an out centre forward. He's a player who likes to drop in. I think the most important thing is that one of the 2 centre forwards, in that case, most of the time Firmino, drops in a little bit and takes care of the deepest line midfielder of Manchester City. And I think they've done it superbly yesterday. I've always been a big fan of playing two in the middle. And as I said, all you need is one of the centre forwards drop in and make sure that the deepest line midfield of the opposition doesn't get easy possession. And that's what it did yesterday. I felt that, a Mahrez or a Grealish would have done the City game a world of good, to have a player who can solve a 1v1 situation. They didn't have anybody there yesterday, and that's why Haaland was probably a bit isolated.
Unfortunately, there's a few other things that were going on with the fan bases, Didi, and both of them, both sets of fan bases, and it only takes a small amount to cause a huge disruption. And there was a lot of hurt and a lot of offence caused yesterday. Manchester City fans reportedly singing Hillsborough chants and damage in the concourse at the away end as well. And Pep Guardiola subjected to things being thrown at him. What do you do in situations like this? It's such a letdown of what was a brilliant game.
Yeah, you understand the frustration of the away fans by losing a game, but obviously there's no place for these chants. And I think what we have to do, and as you say, it's probably only a handful. We've got cameras in the ground, and I'm not sure whether you can pick these people out who chanted these or sang these chants. But I think we have to take the clubs into that discussion as well. I think the clubs have to educate the fans. There's 55,000 there. I don't know, 5, 6, 7,000 away fans. I think the clubs also have to take responsibility, and it's too easy to say the FA has to act. It's something for the authorities. I think the clubs have to be proactive, try to educate these people.
Do you really need to educate people, Didi, in how to behave? I mean, is that
Yeah, Jamie, but obviously we does, because it's not the first time this happened. It's probably, unfortunately, it's not the last time. And, what are you going to do? You can, if you pick somebody out, obviously you can ban them for 3 years, 5 years, or you ban them for life. But these chants, we have to eradicate them. And there's no place for these things in football, because we've got other problems in the world right now. And this is just a rivalry between the two best teams in the last 5 or 6 years. And, I know it's not easy, but I think the clubs have to take responsibility as well, because end of the day, the FA only can do what they can do. And it hasn't changed an awful lot in recent history, as we saw yesterday.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.